so I'm round with this stick. Block 22 with a 30 in that bitch. Up this bitch on you, better pray I don't miss. Catch that bucket up in traffic, you gon' get that shit flipped. In a Uber with a dub, got that bag on me. I don't like the conversation, I don't talk, bitch, you can cash on me. Bad just like me.
All right. What's up, what's happening, folks? This is The Juice with your host, Cam.
What's good, everybody? This is Corbin Harris.
And here on The Juice, we talk about the latest and greatest topics of the week. If you can't handle the funk or the flavor that we're bringing in on this show, then you need to pour yourself down the drain. The topics we bring up are guaranteed to pack more punch than a bowl of juice and get you loose.
There we go. So yeah, man, we're back. This is like the first episode of like the third season. We've been gone for like since we graduated, really.
Yeah.
You know, but it's really good to be back. You know, we got a really special guest in here today.
Hey.
He's one of, like, I guess you could describe him as one of the architects of this Bay Area sound. And I first heard your production on the Clyde Schenkel and Carbon's project, The Harvest, back in like 2011, 2012. And I immediately gravitated to Winter and Gods in the Clouds, bro. Like them two right there. Like I had them on repeat for sure. You know,
He knows.
Yeah, man. So after that, I started seeing your production, you know, spread to other people like Legendary,
Right.
Duckworth, Trifling,
Right.
All Black,
Yeah.
and most recently SOB RBE.
Yeah.
You know, congrats on that one,
Thank
by
you,
the way,
sir.
bro.
Thank you.
So coming from the town, we got producer and vibe creator Spencer Stevens.
Hey, hello.
Yes, sir,
What's
man.
up with it? I like y'all intro. That was super smooth.
Again, man, thank you for coming through and, you know, just giving us your time, you know, to just pick your brain.
Most definitely. Thank y'all for having me.
It's good, man. So I want to talk to you about a lot of things, you know, from you come up to, you know, your production to your creative process, you know, a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But first, man, you recently just had a baby born yesterday.
Yesterday.
Man. So
Thank
you.
Congrats on that,
Appreciate
bro.
you.
That's, you officially, I mean, you've been a dad, but you're a dad, bro.
Big dad.
That's like a crazy title to have, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know, so
it's a responsibility.
Exactly, man. Yeah. So just starting off with that, man. How was life been, you know, as a father? You know,
life as a father has really pushed me, man. It's really pushed me and you know, helped me get to the next levels, you know, in life. I love it, man. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been great.
What are your kids' names, if you don't mind?
I got Sienna, she's 2 years old, and Sade was born yesterday.
Okay, now why those names?
Well, they were really just near and dear to me. Their full names are near and dear to both of my wife's family and my family as well. So, you know, we're just keeping it all together and, you know, creating.
No doubt. And now, did that come from like the artist, or was that already?
Yes, that's the artist. Yes.
Okay, so did your parents play that like when you were growing up, or
Of course.
Yeah.
Grew up around a lot of Sade.
Yeah,
a lot of that.
Yeah, definitely. She's definitely a vibe creator. She got that dope vibe sound. That's just, she got it like a unique sound.
Yes, her aura. She has an aura to her.
Yeah, that energy is
yes, her energy.
Yeah. So are you gonna like try for like a son? Like
you know I am. I'm Spencer Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, so I gotta have my junior out here.
Yeah. Have you thought about any names for him or anything? Spencer. Okay.
Nah, but I got a couple of different. You know, I'm a got ways to name it. So
definitely. So how much like inspiration and drive comes from like, you know, having a baby? I'm sure that like gives you like a push to like really like provide for your family. So like, how do you balance, you know, taking care of your family and then production?
Well, it's business, and you know, it's fun as well. But because it started off as, you know, as a hobby, but I've been able to translate it into money. Just be more responsible, you know, with every decision I make, and be in the right places at the right time. You know, because you know how life is. You know, can't be in the wrong places. So
definitely. So you have 2 daughters, man.
Yeah.
Does that give you like any anxiety at all based on how like women and like girls are treated in this society? Like, have you thought about how you're gonna approach dating, just all the stuff that comes with raising a girl?
Of course. And you know, I love women. And you know, I grew up with my mom, my parents and my sisters. So, you know, I have a real respect for women, and you know, I appreciate women and everything they do. I just watched the birth process for the second time yesterday, and that was so crazy.
Yeah, how was that, man?
Man, it's amazing. It's amazing when it's your child, you know, because you see the videos and that looks crazy.
Yeah.
But when it's your child and it's, you know, it's a natural thing, and you're like, you're on the edge of your seat, just trying to, like, you know, you're waiting. When it, you know, because I wanted this, you know, it's been waiting 9 months, man. So I've been waiting for this baby to get here for 9 months, and she wanted to come late. So, you know, it's a really beautiful thing just to, you know, hold her in your hands and see her for the first time and just observe her those first, you know, seconds in life and, you know, just like, wow, like I just did that.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Puts a lot in perspective.
Have you decided on like the first like song or album you're gonna introduce to your newest artist?
Like,
you know, are there any? Well, first off, for the first one, did you like play? Like, what was like the first things you played?
well, see, since they were in the Billies, I've been playing the beats on, you know, through the phone on top of my wife's belly.
Got you,
you know,
got you. Was it like classical, like rap, jazz?
just my music.
Okay,
My music.
Oh, for sure, for
yeah.
sure.
Just to, you know, get different reactions
Yeah.
and, you know, see now how they react to it. And my daughter definitely knows, like, when it's my beat, she'll say, "Daddy." And when she hears, you know, she knows my beats.
Okay.
She knows those bells and everything ringing. She
Yeah,
like, "Oh, that's
baseline.
Daddy." Yeah, that's Daddy. She know that.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. This is my last question. I'm gonna throw it to you, Cam. So like you talked about your parents briefly.
Yeah.
Do you go to them for advice on how to raise your kids? And if so, like what advice? What do you ask them? Like what do you go to them
Well,
for?
look, my parents have given me advice on living, you know, throughout my whole life. So for everything, I turn, you know, not just about that, but I turn to my parents for a lot of advice on a lot of different things. And they're very knowledgeable people. Like my dad, he has his master's in political science, and my mom has her bachelor's in child psychology, Cal State East Bay.
Okay.
It used to be Hayward, you know, but it's East Bay now. But you know, so they're well, you know, they're educated people in that sense, and you know, they guide me through life, you know, and give me insurance, you know, letting me know, you know, what I'm doing is the right thing to do, you know. I'm righteous, you know, I'm just trying to remain righteous and they keep me on the righteous path.
Absolutely.
You grew up in Oakland, and Oakland's known to have some hard parts.
Yeah.
So growing up, how were you able to avoid those hard parts and even a lot of the negativity and some of the negative influences there?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to have my own mind, man. I'm blessed to have my own mind, because without that, I've seen a lot of followers get caught up in that kind of stuff that you're talking about. But if you have your own mind out here, you don't really have to, I mean, you have to deal with it because, you know, it's in our environment and in our community, and our friends or family are affected. But if you have your own mind, and, you know, and don't, you know, be too much of a follower, you know, follow the right people if you're going to be a follower. And, you know, so that's really what it was, is picking the right influences, you know, and knowing, you know, staying righteous and knowing right from wrong. And that has a lot to do with my parents,
Okay.
you know,
Go.
how I was raised. You know, they loved me. It was a fun time, but it was really no nonsense. It really, you know, I feared my parents more than I did the streets.
Hey, I think, and honestly, it's funny you said that because I feel like that's how it is with a lot of black families, especially in the
Right.
black community. We feared our parents more
Yeah,
in the streets because if we get in trouble out there, you know, that's one thing.
Right.
But then we still got to go home and face the parents.
Right.
Like one time I got into an accident and I told the cop, I'm like, hey, honestly, I'm not scared of you.
Right.
I'm just worried about what I got to tell my
Period.
parents
Period.
when I get home.
Right. Right.
You know?
I feel that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And that kept me out of a lot of trouble.
Mhm.
You know, just being like, you know what? I got to be my own individual right now, bro. You know, y'all go do that. Don't bring that around me. You know.
Yeah. So, growing up, your dad listened to a lot of different genres.
Different. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so what was like you remember the first song that he introduced you to, or the first artist?
You know, Pops used to play a lot of stuff. I got into a lot of his collection. He didn't really put me on. It was really just he had it in the garage, and I would just go in the garage. This is when he had it all on CDs at the time, so I had my Walkman, just pop different CDs in and be like, I'm messing with this. It all pops. And my mom's too, but mainly, you know, I knew it was my pop stuff. I knew it was my mom's stuff, but. You know, yeah, that's how he put me on a lot. And like a lot of the car rides to school in the morning, that's how he was putting me on music. I was just sitting in the back. He always had slap in his car, so I had no choice but to hear the music he was playing. And I grew to love it. You know, everything, and you know, that's certain things I hear now, you know, just reminds me of my childhood. And that's what the music I make now does. You know, I make it because it reminds me of my childhood.
Okay. Dope. So with your music, what's one of the biggest things you wish to accomplish?
Right now, I'm working on some things. Like I'm working on a music festival for next year, Summer in the Town. Yeah, we're gonna throw the first one next year. So
based off the mixtape, right?
Yeah, based off the mixtape. Based off the mixtape. So we're gonna do that next year. You know, just keep keep building, 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 building. You know, we gotta have an empire. You know, we gotta be connected. You know, we gotta be. That's what I want to be. I want to be connected. You know,
Yeah,
that's what's next.
And since you're from Oakland and the concept of being connected and constantly building,
Yeah.
how important is it that, you know, we in the black community buy back the block, buy back the whole thing? Because gentrification is hitting everywhere.
Look, that's because that's trying to separate us, you know, so we can't even talk to each other. You know, so we can't even build on nothing about moving forward. You know, that's what that's doing. And so, you know, we all are who we grew up with is spread out. People who we would be like, come on, y'all, like, let's put this together and, you know, let's buy this right here. You know, we can't even do it because a lot of that is, you know, been gentrified. But at the same time, you know, we found ways around that by staying connected, you know, and being that way.
Staying connected, would you say social media played a huge part in that? Because social media changed the game and the playing field on multiple levels.
Yes, true in this day and age. But you know, it's the Bay Area. And the Bay Area is small, so you know it's already been a social network of people in the Bay Area. So we just doing what we already been doing, politicking.
So music is one of the biggest art forms. I feel like it's like at the forefront of art, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, in your opinion, how do you feel about schools cutting art programs?
That's tough, man. That's bad. Because the art really expands your mind into thinking outside of the box. And they want you to think inside the box, and that's why they're cutting the music programs out and the sports programs out, because they're not really trying to have individuals like me and you go further with what we're doing, because we're creating so much revenue from what we're doing. They're like, oh man, we gotta stop these dudes. You know, they're getting powerful. Like look at LeBron, you know, able to do what he's doing without the education that, you know, without the grit that everybody, you know, I'm throwing quotes up, y'all can't see I'm throwing air quotes up, you know, but the hustle that everybody had to put in, you know, they think he had it too easy, you know, the world's like, he came, look what he's doing with this power he has too much power. So that's why they're cutting the art programs and the sports programs out, so they can cut us off a little more. Just don't have to do like how we always done in the past and just do it regardless, you know, regardless of what they're taking away from us, because you see LeBron, because he didn't have much, you know, and he still balled, you know, so.
And that's something that I'm noticing with our community, just blacks in general. No matter what they try to do systematically, we always find a way to work through it.
Because it's always something. It's always been something. Yeah. It's always going to be something. And you're always going to be faced with adversities, you know, and you got to always push through things, you know.
I think black people are the at the top of that list as far as persevering and just getting past their circumstances. I mean, you can look back at, you know, so many examples from slavery, just so many ways, and we, you know, turn, you know, lemon to lemonade, and just, you know, found ways to reinvent, recreate, and persevere.
Yes.
You've seen, you know of the Avengers, of course, right?
Yeah.
You know the villain Thanos?
Yeah.
You know he has that Infinity Gauntlet.
Right.
I feel like you're a walking Infinity Gauntlet because you got your hand in multiple things. You produce, you play instruments, you engineer, and then you're playing in all these big events. So how does it feel to be like a multiple, or more than the triple threat, but just a multiple threat like that?
Man, I'm just like, I'm in the corner just like, man, just trying to be more of that, you know, just like, you know, just trying to build it up and just do more stuff like that, you know. So that's how it feels. I'm still hungry, you know, so it's not done yet. So it's hard to even really feel about it, except for the fact that I'm in the corner like, come on, we need more, you know.
And that's the mindset. You got to keep eating.
Right.
That's why I tell people, you got to keep eating, stay hungry, stay motivated, of course.
Yes.
And then it'll just keep going and flowing from there. And then with, you know, being like, you know, having all those skills in all those different lanes like that, do people feel some sort of way, or do they support it?
I mean, you know, people always gonna feel some kind of way. I guess so. You know, people feel all kind of ways. People love it, you know. People hate it, but at the end of the day, I know like the people who I want to touch with it are being touched by it, because they let me know. You know, they like, Spence, I see you doing what you're doing. You know, keep doing that. It's inspiring. You know, so you know, and I've been inspired by people. So you know, it's all. I'm just, you know, really trying to pay it all forward, man.
Okay. This is my last question, and then what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you focused and keep ticking constantly through all of this?
Well, really, the thought of not having it all, you know, wanting more for myself and my people, you know, it's like, it keeps me hungry. It's like, you know what, we gotta get more. You know, this is cool, but we gotta keep going with this. You know, we gotta stay on dice with this. We gotta stay hot. You know, but you know, it's really I got responsibilities at the same time keeping me on fire. You know, my people that say Spence, keep going. I love what you're doing. Keep me going. You know, the positive feedback, stuff like this, opportunities keep me going. You know, because it was at a point in time, like back around the time that you referred to with Guys in the Clouds, that was a tough time. Things weren't really happening like how they're happening now. You know, but still had to get through that, and what I've gotten through keeps me going.
Absolutely. So let's go back a little bit, because like the first time I heard your production, but the first time I really heard about you, man, was through my guys Johnny, Billy,
yes,
St. Joe's.
Shout out to my guys, man.
You know, that's the first time, because they were talking about you as far as like beats and creating and stuff like that.
Right.
So I mean, so that was like the first time I heard about you, and then like the first time I really like met you, kind of was through. You probably don't remember, it was through like a Uvu conversation back when Uvu was going on. It was like
hell nah. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was me, you, Ashton Wood was in there.
You naming names.
Yeah. It was that whole thing, man. And,
damn.
You know, that's kind of like a little history.
Hell yeah. No, man, yeah. I remember you back then doing the music shit too.
Yeah, I sent you a few samples.
Yeah. Johnny. Shout out to all of them, man. I know they still doing their music thing too, staying on top of their things out there in SAC and whatnot, keeping it hard, you know, doing their things. Shout out to them.
Definitely. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but let's get into like kind of your come up as far as a producer and DJ and stuff. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the first kind of spark to get you into producing DJ. Was that through like a McDonald's like toy back in the day? Like I remember you.
It was an old McDonald toy.
Okay.
And that was just really like that. Really just had me turned out creatively, because I was able to like I always wanted turntables growing up, and it was always like a thing like, you know, my parents made me work for what I had, so I always had to work for them turntables, and it took me a minute to be, you know, to get that drive to want to work for my own turntables. But back in the day, it was this little old McDonald toy that if you push it in reverse, it would go boom. And I was like, that inspired me. Like, you know, I thought I had a turntable. I was making it go backward. Boom, boom. I'm like, yeah. You know, I thought I was doing it, and that really inspired me to get creative and digital. Yeah.
Okay, and was that during the time at like St. Leo's, or was that like high school?
That was before all of that. This is when I'm a child. This is like when I'm like probably like 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
You know, just playing with this instrument. You know, and watching all the TVs, seeing all the DJs, and you know, seeing all of that really inspired me. You know, this is late '90s, early 2000s, so you know what we would see. So I wanted to be that.
Got you. So you went from that to making beats. So what was the first program you started making beats on?
The first program was Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops, what, like 8, 7?
Man, I can't even tell you. It was probably like 6 if I'm not wrong, or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's old school, right?
Old school. My cousin put it on my computer.
Okay.
Yeah, Icy from the 9. Shout out my cousin too. He make music too.
Okay.
He put it on my computer first, and ever since then, I've really been on one. Like I got a picture that I found the other day of myself. Myself on the Fruity Loops, and now it's sampling too.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that.
Yes. So, you know, ever since then, been having it on fire.
So you talked about sampling a little bit. So I noticed like from your production back when you were with Native Son, producing for Native Son. I noticed the production difference from then to now. And it seemed like you kind of backed up or backed down on sampling.
Yes.
Like, why was that? Was it the whole clearance and all that? Like, talk about that a little bit.
I've knock on wood, I've yet to run into that kind of problem, but it was that, like, man, you know what, you're better off just trying to create your own sound, you know, than just trying to get further and then potentially having to pay someone half of what you made. And you know, that sucked to me. The thought of that sucked to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own like little sounds, and you know, expand my mind with it.
Do you still sample from time to time now?
Of course. And now I've gotten to the point where I don't have to necessarily sample on top. You know, strip a sample. I can get around the key and replay a couple of things. Even though I'm not the best pianist, I'm really a drummer. You know, but you know, I'm able to hear it. You know. Got the ear for it.
Definitely. So, in that, you did an interview, interview with Speak with Beats back in the day.
Shout out to them too.
Definitely. You talked about how your dad was like one of the first people that really admired your beats and production.
Hell yeah.
So did he like have a history of making beats at all when he was coming up, or like?
My dad always had the desire.
Okay.
he always had the desire to be creative, and you know, but he went and chose his route. And now, you know, I love my dad. He tell me today, you know, if he could do it all over, he would do what I'm doing. You know, and that, you know, that means a lot because he has a master's degree. And, you know, I'm like, wow, you know, I don't have a degree at all, you know, but he admires and respects what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's crazy. It's major to me.
So who was like the first person to like rap on your beats? And are they still rapping today?
Yes, I would say it's probably my partner Yared, or like to put a song out would be Native Son for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Around that same time, that's when I started. Even later on, we'll work with Duckworth and, you know, Anthony Dragons, and, you know, and them Hellas in that group like that. So, you know, and yeah, that was like heavily, you know, groovy hip hop sample based, which I could kick still too. Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of talked about how during that time when you were with Native Son, that was a time of like struggling a little bit.
Right.
So
I mean, just coming up, you know.
Right. So when did you really start to see like progress with like the production? And when you feel like you started making moves?
I mean, when they started, when the music started moving and started paying and started wanting us to go different places and do different shows, I, you know, started seeing potentials, you know, and the potentials really like pushed me forward to the point where it is now. You know, I always seen potential and, you know, just the positive feedback. People love what we was doing for a long time. And, you know, like I said, I've always had the support at the house, you know, with what I was doing. So, you know, it was kind of just, everything just happened naturally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of transitioning from like that to like your production, like more so in depth with your production. For those who are listening now, I make beats. You know, I do my thing with beats and stuff.
Tight ass beats.
You know,
Can I pass me?
you can say ask.
Okay.
That's a good question.
We didn't ask first. Probably because of what's doing. We don't know.
But yeah, as a producer though, you know, we have situations where you'll be in the zone. You'll really be cranking out beats, or really going in a single beat.
Right.
So as far as getting in the zone, like, does that happen often for you? Like, what's kind of like the setting for you?
I have to get in the zone, man. I have to get in the zone. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, it's usually cannabis around. You know, we usually got we indulgence, you know, it's cannabis. And get to grooving, man. But you know, I have to get in that zone in order, because like I say, I'm a drummer, but at the same time, I'm in a zone, filling out, listening and picking apart keys and, you know, seeing what sounds right together, what doesn't sound right. Like, oh, that don't go, you know, that's not going. You know, so I definitely have to be in the zone to get there, and I'm just like grooving, man. Definitely in the zone.
Okay. And like, what beats? I mean, I guess are all the beats you create a product of being in the zone, or are there some that are like
yes.
kind of just?
No, none of them. None of my beats are just like, oh, I'm gonna just no. They're all, you know, I have to, because well, they used to be. I started off like, you know, forcing myself to make a certain amount of beats per day. Not like that, but like, you know, when I got serious about it around 2012, I was trying to make a certain amount of beats per day. And, you know, now that I've just kind of like, you know, done that, experienced that, and forced myself through that, I'm like, you know what? I make the best music, and with the results I've gotten, I've learned that I make the best music when I'm just zoned out, you know, having fun. You know, I got my people with me. We chilling. We having a good time. You know, it's a good atmosphere, great energy. I'm bouncing off energies a lot of the time too. And a lot of my people, like I keep a lot of people around. They don't make music, you know. So you know, a lot of them people just have good energy. You know, and I just make music off the energy that's in the room. Like, yeah, this is the energy that's in the room. So this is how we're gonna cook it. You know, and they'll even rap, but the music be for them.
So when you usually create, is there a lot of people around, or do you prefer to cook by yourself?
I've done all kind of environments. I prefer to cook alone, but I've done a group setting. But I like to great energy in a group setting. You know, good positive people in a group setting. I don't like too much of a party atmosphere in the studio. That kind of throws off my creative energy, unless it's like my party.
You know, more control.
Right, more control over the party. But I don't like just, you know, a whole bunch of things going on in the studio when we're trying to handle business. You know, that I don't like that.
So another part of like producing is, and being a producer is figuring out, you know, when you should charge and like your
Right.
rate to pay. So how did you determine how much you should charge? You know,
Well,
how did that come about?
that grows.
Yeah.
That grows, and it's similar to I would say I'll compare it to like the stock market. You know, your prices rise and they drop. You know, because of the atmosphere, the climate. You know that you're currently in,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been up and down, and you know, to this day, how I go about that is only doing really pretty much what I love. So it kind of eliminates the pressure on how much I need to charge people. It's more about, do I love what I'm doing?
Mm.
You know, do I love what's gonna come out of this? You know, then it's like, okay, I know how to make money from there.
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
and I don't necessarily have to too much. You know, be like, yeah, man, I'm charging $500 today. You know, or I'm charging $1,000 tomorrow. You niggas better cop. You know what I'm saying? But you know, so I'm like, you know, I calm down. You know, and I've became peaceful. You know, a peaceful producer. I'm not too much. You know, trying to tax everybody even.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to grow things.
Absolutely, build relationships.
Build relationships with people.
For sure. It's my last question. I'm gonna throw it to you, Cam. So like also like in the Bay, you know, the Bay has just got a lot of talent that's like slept on, and sometimes not even slept on.
Right.
And there's a lot of producers like, you know, Miko's the guy,
Hell yeah.
Julia Lewis,
Right.
Drew Banger.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you
Drew
know,
Banger.
June on the beat, DTP. It's a
Yeah,
lot of people.
yeah.
You know, do they
Yourself.
inspire?
Yourself.
Oh yeah, myself. Yeah, I got myself in there.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Do you get inspired from, you know, those type of producers in the Bay? Like,
Hell yeah.
okay.
I mean,
like,
yeah, like I definitely get you know, like I was saying this in another interview, but it was like, you know, you guys, it's more of it's like we got to get hits, you know, we got to make hits, so it's like a hit competition, you know, it's like in unspoken about, you know, but I know you want some hits,
Oh, yeah,
you know, I
of
know
course.
every producer out here
Of
wants
course.
some hits,
Yeah.
you know, so it's really like, you know, we got to get everybody's like trying to make a hit,
It's a
you know, and
competition.
but it's a good competition and it's a hot competition, you know, because everybody got to make a hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, everybody's trying to catch fire. So it's like, you know, we got to catch fire, we got to catch fire, we're going to catch fire. And you got to keep it on fire.
Yeah, gotta be consistent.
Yeah,
man.
you
You definitely like had a couple times, most recently, but like a lot of fire stuff, which
Right
is
on.
the SOB track, man.
Man.
We're gonna talk about that.
Right on, right on.
Let's clap.
I'm throw it to
Right
my
on.
brother Cam though.
For sure.
All right, so when you're working with an artist, how do you come up with the concept of the song? Do you like to produce it by yourself first? Do you already have it ready? Or do you sit there with the artist and do they have a concept? Or is it just free flowing off of each other?
Look, the whole process is free form because sometimes it can go either way. Sometimes I can sit down with an artist, or sometimes they'll come to me with a concept, or I'll come to an artist like my partner Legendary with a concept. You know, he's good with like, you know, formulating and building storytelling. You know, great storyteller. You know, so I really just do a different number of things. A lot of times guys bring their ideas to me, and I kind of go, you know, I kind of make it like how I see it, you know, paint my picture with it, because that's all I can really do. I can't copy, you know. It's even hard for me to like literally copy without throwing my little, okay, I'm gonna throw my little sound in there, like I'm gonna change it up a little bit, you know, or change a note, you know, or something like that. So yeah, a lot of the times it's just really free, and just like as of lately, you know, I haven't had too many serious, like I know it's gonna get there, but like I haven't really had too many, like it has to sound like this, you know. No, I haven't had that.
Okay, and yeah, it should be natural, you know,
Right.
just freestyling and having
Right,
fun with it, like
fun.
you were saying.
Yes.
You know, that's one of the most
energy,
important
man.
parts.
Networking and networks of people that just naturally wanted to, that heard something in me, heard something in them, and wanted to put us together in the same room, and that has happened with everybody. With everybody that I know, it just, you know, a friend of a friend was like, you know what, I think y'all could do something. And then, you know, they was like, you know, and it just so happens that it naturally happens, we get in the same place at the same time, and it's just like, you know, like, okay, and then it just flows, you know.
Speaking on that, yeah, you and Black, you guys got a good like synergy going.
Right on, man,
You know,
right on.
I listened to, what was that project?
No Shame Too?
Yeah, No Shame 2.
Yeah.
No Shame 2, man. You had 3 on there, 3
Yeah,
good ones, man.
3 joints.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was
sir.
a Madden joint, that one.
Yeah,
that was fire,
right
too.
on, man, right on.
Nice
Yeah,
little thing, too,
yeah, he
man.
got good energy. He has great energy. man.
Absolutely, yeah. Kind of, you know, he kind of sounds like there's a little hints of like Tupac in his voice.
Right, he got that charisma.
Yeah.
He got that charisma.
Yeah.
Kind of like a G-Funk mob kind
Right.
of Bay Area sound kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I notice a lot of your sound, it's a mix of new school and a lot of old school.
Exactly.
It's a mix from multiple realms,
Yeah.
which is pretty dope, and it's refreshing each time you
Right.
hear it.
Thank you.
So I definitely enjoy it.
Thank
So let me ask you this, as a producer and a contributor to music, I'm sure you're constantly looking at what's going on in the industry. So when you
Yes.
look at, for example, Kanye West, he's been going through a lot of mental health issues, and
Right.
he's been showing support for Trump. Do you think it's possible to separate the artist from the artist's music from whatever they got going on? Because even with a lot of people still support R. Kelly,
Right.
and can you separate, all that controversy from that music?
Can I personally?
Or
personally,
and even in general, like people
Personally,
in
I
general.
can, but generally, I feel like people can't.
Yeah.
And it depends on like what angle you're looking at, and because I'm a student, and what I'm studying is not a person's life. I'm studying their craft,
Yeah.
and a lot of times that may conflict, but at the same time, I'm able to say, you know what, let me just listen to this music, and not listen to this. And it depends, because I'm really listening to their music at the same time, and I gotta know what they're talking about at the same time, and I study that as well. But like Kanye, he's kind of crazy, I haven't, and I also stay in my own bubble at the same time musically. That's how I make the sounds I make. I don't really necessarily even keep up with the industry, but I hear things and see things, especially being on social media. So, I really like to remain ignorant to a lot of people's ignorance.
Oh,
I like that.
That's deep. That's
That's
deep.
a gem right
Run that back again. That's
I like to be ignorant to a lot of people's ignorance, man, for real, because that is it can really affect you, especially like people you look up to.
Yeah. And speaking of that, people you look up to during this whole process, what mentors did you have? Or even people, some mentors out there, they don't even know that you're that mentor.
Exactly. And I have a lot of different people that I look up to, but like I have to give it all back to my parents, and the people who brought me here, because they really, even helped me, shape me to being able to find a good mentor to look up to outside of them, who will be next. So, they really put me on, and really for show pops, put me on like musically and music game like DJ Premier, a lot of East Coast. He loved Eric B. Rakim, that's one of his favorite little duos. Gangstar, Group Home, a lot of East Coast stuff, but like through his little collection, that's how I got into Outkast, Scarface, Ghetto Boys, Spice One, Andre Nicotina out here, stuff like that. All coastal, all coast stuff.
There we go. We have a sprinkle of everything, and then you get different sounds, get different vibes from that too.
Right.
Okay. So, so your relationship with your father.
Yeah.
So how has that impacted the way that you work right now?
We'll see. Now he has MS right now, so it's like I see him, and I see him like dealing with it, and see him dealing with adversity, and I kind of look at him, and I look at my adversity and see how small my adversity is compared to the adversity that he has to deal with, being sick and not able to like get around and like how he would like to, so watching him is like and deal with it is inspiration, because it's some tough stuff to deal with, especially after being, my dad was an active man, he got his master's, he's out here really doing things, so it kind of like, the disease kind of like, did whatever it did, but today he's still able to push through it and live through it, and, be an inspiration for me, give me good game when I need it, be here for his children, and still be the man of the house. So, I look up to Pops a lot, and he is a lot of the fire that's here right now.
Absolutely. There we go. So my last one, throw it to Corbin. If you can, I'm gonna bring it back to Oakland now. So if you can describe Oakland in 3 words.
That was my question, man.
Hey, if you could describe Oakland in 3 words, what would you say it is?
prideful for sure. Go ahead.
Man, I mean, yeah. I mean, let's say confident. Let's say diverse and eclectic.
Okay. Okay.
You know, because Oakland has its own taste. The Bay has its own taste, and even sound, dress, everything. You know, so it's very eclectic. Have a lot of people from here. You wouldn't even know they're from here. You know, a lot of eclectic people that are from here. You'd be like, what? I would never imagine that person's from here. But you know, that's how diverse this place is. A person that's from here, you would never know, you know, until you get to really talking to them that they're from here.
Yeah, that's one thing about the Bay. It's just all walks of life here, man.
Right.
It's just it's
Right.
so diverse. You know?
And it's a transit city.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. We got here. We're not really from here.
Mhm.
Our families are from deep south, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
spread out.
Yeah.
So, you know, because, you know, you know the story of slavery and everything. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's even like, you know, it's a funny thing to claim and to sit here and be like, you know, yeah, this is it, because there's so much things going on in Oakland and, you know, where we at now. And it's a whole mentality in Oakland, you know, that, you know, of course, wherever you go, you represent, but at the same time, you have to be an individual. And that's what the city has taught me, you know. Don't be no punk, but, you know, play chess, not checkers.
Hey, say that one more time.
Look, don't be no punk, play chess, not checkers.
Definitely, man. So I'm gonna ask one question, then we just get into a little music break.
Mm-hmm.
Like the relationship between the producer and artist, I feel like it can be frustrating sometimes because like you can send a beat to an artist and they might not respond.
Yeah.
They could ask for free beats.
Right.
You know, so how do you deal with like in that example of an artist not responding? Like, are you gonna send that same beat to another artist? I seen you post on Twitter. There was like a little conversation going on with a rapper. He said producers like if you
That's Sky. Thank you. Shout out Sky. Shout out to Sky. Thank you, man. Thank you, Sky. That's Sky, man. We were just having a little conversation on the internet about sending beats that you've already sent to other people to other people. And yes, this is a business, and see, a lot of the times what I was really referring to was the free aspect of, you know, people not even saying I'm gonna pay you, or, you know, you just sending beats out. You know, you really just trying to see who's trying to connect and build with you. You know, and on that tip, I'm like, man, you know what? You gotta really shop your beats around. You know, you can't really just be like, oh, I sent these here, because that locks up so much potential for you. Why would you do that to yourself as anybody? Why would you just say, why would you put all your eggs in one basket? Somebody tell me. You know, unless you have security in that basket. You know what's gonna come out of that basket. You know, I would never just I would never tell anyone to short themselves. You know, you better get it while it's good, because it's gonna go dry. Like I say, it's ups and downs. You know, hot now could not be hot tomorrow. You know, so just spreading. That's all I was really getting at, was just, you know, and at the same time doing it for the love of doing it will keep you out of a lot of that emotional, like, you know, like, oh man, he's not responding to my shit. Oh, I need to, you know, and doing it out of spite. Like, oh, I'm gonna send this, you know, don't do nothing out of spite like that. Don't be no punk. But I'm saying, you know, like, play chess, you know, like, okay, he not working with it. All right, we on to the next. We finna go over here, see if we can get these beats off here, see if he like these beats right here, you know. So, and that's how it goes. It's really just, because a lot of songs have been through a lot of these artists. Like a lot of the beats that you're hearing now with these artists, they've had them, and they just didn't do nothing with them. And, you know, I like when artists get the songs and they capitalize on the beat quick, and it's like, you know, let me know something. Let me know something. A lot of the times, artists aren't letting the producers know nothing.
Right.
You know, it's like, bro, I didn't know you had a whole song to this, bro. Like, you feel me? It's out now. Like, I didn't know you had a song. You didn't tell me you had a song.
Right. It's like I could have tweaked that beat or mixed or done something
different to it.
Exactly.
You know, and you didn't, you know, so it's really communication and communicating at the end of the day. But like I'm saying, and doing it for the love of it will eliminate, I feel like, a lot of the little problems that come with doing it. You know, like a lot of that, because you know when you're doing it for the love of it, you know, you like, even then you're like, okay, or who, I like to say whoever has the better song, who has the best song, then you go with that, go with that, or let's see what song does better.
Okay.
Oh, I actually, because this conversation right there, I know we're gonna cut it at that. I got one more question because it made me think about the whole LMA and Jacquees situation.
Right.
So as a producer, you know, like as a producer,
Before you start, so what's the situation going on just for our listeners?
So, the situation with that, LMA released this song called Trippin'.
Right.
And then, you know, when people do mixtapes, they always do their own covers of songs.
Right.
Jacquees didn't do a mixtape. He just did his own
His
cover.
own, yeah.
Pushed it out. It blew up more than the original version, which was
Really?
LMA.
Okay.
Right.
Now, for both of y'all, as producers, if you had an artist that dropped a song, it did good, but then someone else did a whole different cover, blew up, how would y'all feel that, you know, how would you feel in that situation, especially with the song being spread out even more from the other artists doing the cover?
As a producer, I'm happy with the exposure. So I mean, if I had it meant for this one artist and another artist does it and it blows up even more, I'm happy with the exposure.
Right.
I'm happy with the listeners. You know, I'm happy that it's getting exposed more. So I'm cool with it, to be honest.
I feel the same and register my ASCAP with it.
Yeah,
That's
straight
how I
up.
feel about it.
I want to talk to you about that too, but we'll go into a little break, man. Cause
It's
you
a
got,
remix, man. You gotta do the remixes,
Yeah.
man. You know, that keeps songs alive.
Absolutely.
That keeps your legacy going on.
Absolutely.
Get somebody else popping on it. Artists gotta do that with their own songs. Like LMA should have said, okay, let's get together. Let me just feature you on it.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
Let me just feature on it. Take your version off. Let me do a feature with you on it. Let's do it together. Let's make some more money.
Yeah.
See, it's a lot of people not wanting people to have money. Like it's not enough going around.
Niggas want me dead, so I'm around with this stick. Black 22 with a 30 in that bitch. Up this bitch on me, better pride, don't miss. Catch that
Man, that's what I'm saying though. There's be shit like that, bro. Adversities, bro. Little things like that. That shit gonna be recorded. Shit gonna be going right. And you can't do nothing but keep pushing through it, bro. And keep it lit, bro. You gotta do what we gotta do. Let's record it now. So all we do is just keep it lit for now. You know what I'm saying? And everybody who needs to hear it has already heard it. So all you gotta do is make shit look good right now. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's what keep it like balance for me. Like,
You gotta keep fighting. That's what makes everybody out there. You gotta just fight through whatever adversity you going through, and you'll get there to where you need to be. So it's all good.
It's all good. I got a story about that too. If y'all want to hear a crazy story about it.
Oh yeah, that's good. Y'all want to do that? Okay. Let's get it. So BRBE produced by.
Spencer Stevens and Drew Banger.
Yeah. There we go.
So let's get into the history behind that track, man. So, you know, when you guys made this, did you make it on the spot? Was it made? Did you send tracks? Like, talk about how the track came.
We were in LA. Drew used to stay on top of what's that cafe downtown? I forget. It's like 24 hours though. They got the good lobster sandwich over there, smacking milkshakes, going crazy. But we were there on top of it, like I forget which floor we was up there. This is at the top of the year, at the top of 2018, probably even like December 2017. We was just like, he had like some stems. He just sent me them stems, and I heard him. I was like, wow. It's like, I got more beats, more beats from that little pile, but that one has caught right now. They all got their little lifespans, they come out when they come out, like I don't know, like life, you know what I'm saying? But that came about, man, on like we was just chilling, bro, in LA, good vibes, with the good cannabis, you know what I'm saying? getting there and making it happen, bro. Good vibes. I even think like he had to he was making other beats while I was making that beat. I was in my headphones making that. Like he sent me the stems. We was in the same room. He airdropped them to me. I was just like, he was working. We were working on like the workflow was crazy at that time. Like 100 beats came out of that. Like I made like between the both of us, I'm sure we made like 100 beats during a little 2 week like it was a week and then really a couple of days, like probably weekends. We was down there and probably got it like a night. We was locked in like all night to the morning.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So how did you guys meet initially?
Me and Drew?
Yeah.
Me and Drew, we was working. That was a long time ago. It was not too long, but that's when I was with Duckworth and making that, so Drew, he knows me, he remembers me from that sound, so he knows, how far the sound has came. He's seen me grow for sure, and I've seen him grow, but Drew has always been talented with, his instrumentation, he's always been.
He's a bass player, right?
Yeah, he's a bass player. Yeah. He's always been on a different level. So, I met Drew just, it was another thing, met Drew. Now me and Drew do things, we got the Wave Bros, with Mellis and Shrugs, shout out to the Wave Bros. We got an event coming up on the 30th at F8, 1192 Folsom Street in San Francisco out here. So, you know, but, you know, got everything really just ended up coming together, you know, falling into place, meeting the right people. You know, it was a blessing to meet Drew, because look at where we at today.
Definitely. So how did you get this beat to SOBRBE?
So, really that was on Drew.
Okay.
That was on Drew. Drew really you know, because Drew's connected, but you know, it's this game is all about being connected, you know, so through connections, that's how I got there. You know, he's connected, I'm connected, we connected, everything connected like Lego.
Yeah. Straight up. So, over the break, we were kind of talking about just the deals you made, and just like kind of how you progressed as far as, you know, the business side of things, labels,
right,
that type of thing. And you were talking about how you had a partnership, distribution deal
yes,
with the label Empire.
yes.
So how did that come together? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Like, kind of
Yeah, man, shout out to Empire. First, they reached out to every artist I was working with, and then they was like, you know what? We gotta give a little spins, man. So they tapped in with me, got with Empire. Shout out to Empire and everybody up there pulling them strings, man. But you know, they do a lot for the, you know, scene, and they want more people like myself and like, you know, like yourself. You know, they want people who are really doing things and creating great music, you know. So they really just reached out to me really because of that. You know, they heard the you know, they put everything together and was like, okay, this is who it is. So you know, they reached out to me, and you know, they do a lot, but they're distributing right now.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so yeah, man, just that one slaps stuff, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, crazy. Like we were talking about it before. Like that's like my goal as a producer is to have, you know, the songs that really stand out on the project.
Right.
And I feel like Uber with a Dub is that song that stands out on the
that.
project. And I saw Fader post about it too.
Yeah,
like,
it's number 2 on that thing.
Right. So that's how you know when like these industry,
Man,
you know,
see,
people
that's like another thing. That's another door open, because a minute ago, you know, that's like, you know, that's another level. You know, a level that we recently reached, and that, you know, I'm appreciative of, because we have been doing this a long time. So you know, to finally get that kind of recognition is hella cool.
Absolutely.
So before we came back from the music break, we were talking about adversity, because we just faced some adversity
Boy.
with our equipment not recording. It seems like every time we're in here, in this specific studio, something always happens. But, you know, adversity is one of those things you just got to keep fighting through.
Right.
So, you know, going through this whole process, what were some of the adversities that you had to go through?
Let me give you one of my favorite, most recent adversity lessons, man. I was out in Vancouver, Canada, with my man Duckworth, doing a show out there with him, DJing for him. And I was with the tour manager, and we were, you know, just doing regular things. We was on the balcony, you know, indulging in a little cannabis, because you know it's legal out there too. So we was smoking a big one, man. And look, man, so the thing about this spot, I don't know if it was just a spot or if all of Vancouver was like this, man, but it was a lot of like one-way entrances. Like you can't go, like you can't, you know, you need keys for a lot of things. You know, you need to, it's not a lot of, in this building we were at, you know, you needed a key for everything, like to get to the first door, to get on the elevator, to get to the floor that you need to be on. You have to have the right key to get to that floor. It's like 20 floors. So if you don't have that key, you're not going up. Man, when I tell you we got locked out on this balcony on the 18th floor. On the 18th floor, man, we got locked down on this balcony, man. I'm looking around, I'm like, man, it's like, I'm looking at my phone inside on the couch. I don't have my phone. The tour manager has her phone, luckily, so we calling a bunch of places. Every day is like, you know, we can't really do nothing. It's really gonna come down to us, you know. This is what I start figuring out. So we end up calling Duck, and Duck is like, you know, we're kind of, at this point, we're like, we're trying to calm each other down. We're having conversations about life, you know, we get into it, we just chilling, you know, because I'm like, we got to be calm in this situation, and just, you know, because it's easy to panic in this situation on the 18th floor, locked out. And I'm looking down, it's like 2 in the morning. I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna hear us out there. Duck was out doing his thing, so Duck was like, look, does anybody have a card in their pocket? And I had my wallet on me. And see, luckily there was not the sliding glass door, but there was a door on there, and like a back, you know, door to another room that's inside the little Airbnb. I took that car, popped that door open with determination, bro. I swear to God, I was not gonna be locked out, and that's how I was feeling. And you know, just dealing with that kind of adversity, really, like, that was a different level, bro. Because I had even reached a point before there. I had like this really bad anxiety, and I was like, I don't know why, but I couldn't stop moving. I was shaking. You know, I was like, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm chilling. I'm trying to chill. I'm on the porch, but I'm like, you know, I'm just really chilling. But dealing with that, you know, is really taught. Just not that alone, but that it's, you know, it's in everything. You know, you deal with adversity on a daily basis. You know, so that experience was just, you know, my latest and greatest, and it really just slapped me in the face with that. You know, you got to persevere because you know, no more locked doors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said,
No
no
more
more
locked
locked doors.
doors?
Yeah, that's how you feel it. I'm like, nope, and I don't take no for an answer. You know, everything is possible. You know. Yeah, we doing it all, man. Don't worry about none of the technical difficulties we have in here, man.
Man,
It's all good.
Yo, I'm just glad we got a portion of this at least. Man.
Portion of it recorded.
Right.
This studio be messing with it. It tests your patience.
Yes.
Just like test
Life.
your patience.
You know what I'm saying?
Just being in this industry, being in this realm, doing what we all do, test your patience
So
all the
imagine,
time.
dealing with this, and then we go outside. We got to deal with something else.
Yeah,
Traffic.
one day at a time.
You know-
Or no, one issue at a time.
Right.
I'd say that's how people get anxiety too.
Right.
Because you know, they're facing all these different things at once.
Right.
And then, you know, you look at the situations with a lot of musicians, how
Yeah.
do you feel as a producer, as a DJ,
Mhm.
working with all these artists? How do you stay sane and how do you stay away from, you know, breaking down throughout these situations?
Well, like I said earlier, it's really about doing it for the love of it. Because you'll catch yourself getting mad, frustrated, and breaking down when you worry about something else other than just having fun and, you know, why you started in the first place. You know, you get caught up with the short-term temporary successes and distracted, you know, and a lot of things happen, a lot of things change. But, you know, you just got to really, you know, adapt. A lot of adapting and persevering and sticking through the shit, you know.
Oh, and honestly, yeah, I agree, and that's how a lot of pedestrians are. Like we adapt. I'd say we adapt to everything. We're like hustlers and grinders out here. That's what makes this whole area unique,
Right.
and keeps everybody going.
Going.
Keeps us all motivated and
Right.
inspired.
Hey, we moving.
That's
you know,
what I'm
and
saying.
It's not stuck here. We're not stuck here. People can move out of here if they want.
And come back whenever.
Come back whenever they want.
Come back with some more games.
Right.
Us all. With some
Everybody.
more,
Exactly.
you know,
Period.
all that ism.
Period. Love
No.
day for that.
Now, real quick, we're winding down on time here, but before you put out like a couple instrumental mixtapes,
Yes.
do you have any plans to like put out any more instrumental mixtapes, or is that pretty much not a main focus?
No, yeah, we definitely gonna put out some more instrumental stuff. Got a lot of collaborative things too that's gonna drop. That's gonna be interesting with like my man Wax Roof. Shout out to Wax Roof.
Oh yeah, yeah, dope as hell.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah.
My man Shrugs. We got some things, but we just, you know, we getting this cooking. Wave Bros, whole Wave Bros. We got our little project that it's not instrumental, but we got our little project that we're coming with. And I'm definitely, you know, always making beats. So, you know, I'm always looking to ways to be more creative with that, you know. And that's the thing. I just trying to be more creative and take it to the next level. And that's what I'm concerned with. So.
I saw you post about possibly doing music for video games, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
So if you could choose any video game, past or present, what would you want to make the soundtrack?
You know, I would want to do San Andreas.
Oh, okay.
Because that video game really, like riding around in the car and on the game, like that made I was like, yeah, this is a video game. You know what I'm saying? Like all them other games wasn't really like, you know, they weren't messing with GTA. Like it was crazy.
You could do some stuff.
But some stuff on that game, you know, just it had you in that '90s setting, you know, curate the soundtrack for it, you know, or you know, just little other sounds. There's a million different things you can do with the sound, and you know, in industries like film and video games. So I really want to just put it out there. I'm trying to get into that and attract that right now.
Okay. Well, I got a little segment we got called Hot and Cold. It's kind of just answering questions pretty fast. But
Yeah.
Cam, did you have any questions you wanted to?
I had a game. I'm gonna let you go with that hot and cold first. I got another one too.
Cool.
I got more questions as well.
Yeah, go down and cold because I'm gonna end off with the hot and cold.
Oh, okay, yeah. So summertime. No, summer in the town.
Yep.
So volume 1. So that was like a mixtape that you created that was 32 minutes long. It was just a mix of various artists all together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's unique because I hear about mixtapes and it's usually track by track, but this
Right.
one
This is
is a
one
long
continuous-
track
yep.
telling a story.
Yeah.
So that's raw.
Right.
So if you could describe the summertime or summer in the town,
right.
in your opinion, how would that be?
It's exactly what the name is, you know, and for that first one, that's exactly what it felt like. That was a lot of the music that I was getting from a lot of the people that was around. That was hot. We were actually throwing a lot of parties back then too, and that was a lot of the music that would get the parties going, you know, locally. And it was summer in the town, it was town music, so you know, we really just it was really just that good summer vibe, man. And really, my birthday is September 25th, so I'm an Indian summer kind of guy. Okay, we great. Happy belated.
Hey, happy belated.
Man, right on. But you know, so it was really just like, you know, it was really just that summer. I'm that late summer, you know, like it's not done yet. Like, you know, it's still summer in the town. You know, it's summer in the town today. It's hot out there today. So whenever it's a hot day like that in the town, it's summer in the town, because you know people will come out. It's gonna be a good time. Don't let it be a weekend, because we're going to the lake.
Hey.
You know.
So speaking on the lake, you know, the lake is one of the most pivotal points of Oakland, I'd say. So what were some of your best memories being on the lake? Maybe even the worst one.
Look, so my best memories is like if ever I was going through something, or, you know, some tough little adversity, going to the lake on a nice little day and just like relaxing on that lake and letting the lake speak to you and looking at the city, you know, and just, it's so peaceful, and, you know, and just sitting back like that and just reflecting and thinking. That's some, you know, I do that often, and I, you know, go chill up in a cut somewhere on the lake often. So just that whole energy and aura of the lake is everything for me. There's so many memories on that lake, man. Yeah, I love the lake.
Let me ask you a quick question, man. It's kind of weird, but if you take a shot of Lake Mirror water for $1,000,
You know, I couldn't do that to myself for $1,000.
$3,000,
I couldn't do it for $3,000.
what would you have to be paid to have a shot of Lake Mirror water?
Man, that's boundless, man. 'Cause that water's nasty, man. I seen things, man. That was
Dead people.
smell. It's dead people in that water. First of all,
Yeah.
people do all kind of stuff in that water. Second of all, I done seen people get in that water.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I done actually seen somebody fall in that water.
Me too.
Look, when somebody had, remember when we had the little scooter thing, the hoverboards?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I seen somebody hoverboard into the lake.
Oh.
It was so scandalous, and he was like, I forget what he was doing. I think I was with my wife at the time, and he was like looking at us, and it was just funny because I'm like, bruh, you better pay attention. In my head, I say, bruh, you better pay attention to that lake, bruh. I was like, I'm like, you better pay attention to that lake, just watch it. End up falling in that lake and on that hoverboard. I say, damn.
He watched too much Back to the Future. He probably thought he could float by.
Oh, man, he fell right into that lake.
Hey, so you touched on something though, real quick. You said you had a wife. Man.
Yeah.
So how did you guys meet?
We met, so, you know, I do music back in a couple years back, like, is when I put out my tape. It's called Ascension, Instrumental
Yeah,
EP.
yeah.
Do a little listening party at Suru downtown on 14th Street.
Okay.
And so around the time she was like, you know, she was at Suru, you know, she's North African, Algerian,
Right.
but she's from France.
Okay.
So, you know, so you know, she was around that scene, you know, so I was just downtown doing my music thing. I seen her, I knew I had to have her.
Spit that immaculate game.
Yeah, you know, I had to have her.
Immaculation.
I seen her, I told her, because she knew my partner Melis, you know, my brother Melis. I'm like, I tapped in with Melis. I'm like, Melis, who's that? And he told me who she was. I'm like, you know what, dude, that's me, bro. And he was like, all right, bro. And, you know, and I got 2 kids with her now. So.
Yeah. Congrats on that again.
Right.
Congratulations.
That's what's up.
Thank you.
Like I said, we're winding down on time here. You want me to pass the time? Can you got any questions?
How long you running till?
Probably like 2:45. Is that cool?
Yeah, 2:45.
2:45. So yeah, so again, just because we're kind of going all over the place now, you know, going back to like the whole producer thing, man.
Right.
What producer would you want to collab with? Like that's like established.
You know, cause getting with producers is hard sometimes, cause it's like, you know, it's like, well, it really comes down to like, what would you add to this? You know, and it's like, okay, so what would this person add? What element, what energy would they add? But I'm gonna want to see what Dre talking about.
Okay.
I'm gonna want to see what he talking about. Have a session with him, you know, see what's going on. Dre, Battle Cat,
Dash.
Dash.
Okay.
You know, I want to sit down with them and see, like, you know, pick apart, like, you know, and DJ Quick.
Okay. I had a feeling you was gonna say that too.
Yeah.
Quick.
That G-Funk,
Yeah,
huh?
get that G-Funk, see what he talking about. So, you know, it's a lot of the greats. Only the greats, really.
And then, like, out of all the beats that are out there right now, what beat do you wish you made?
There's a lot of, like, current or like
Any
beat?
What first came to mind?
I don't know, man. It would have to be like some classic, man. A lot of things coming to mind right now. it's a lot of beats that, you know, just, I love music, bro. So you ask me that question, like 1,000 songs is just like going through my head right now. So
No worries,
I can't put it down on
no
one.
worries.
But I love, you know, all the classic, bro. If I made every classic, I'd be a happy man.
There you go, 100%.
Okay, I got one. So, how was your birthday and how was the day party at New Parish?
Man, birthday was lit, man. Just brought it in with the family, but that day party was crazy, man. Had a great people, bro. A lot of people showed up. A lot of great energy, bro. No problems. We was at the New Parish, you know, living it up. Great with the Wave Bros. You know, had you know, it was just really a great time. You know, really a great time. It was a celebration. You know, everybody showed up. Shout out to everybody who showed up too. So, you know, it was a great time, great people.
There we go.
Yeah.
How the whole Wave Bros collective initially meet up and decide to create that group?
Well, we saw the potential early in just the connections and just in what everybody does, and we all partners. It kind of made sense for us to like get together and build more than what we had individually, you know, just like kind of see what we could do with the Wave Bros, you know, and we start throwing parties and, you know, we make music now. Me and Drew got the Uber with a dub, you know, out right now. So it just really, it's growing, bro. You know, I can't even really tell you necessarily, like, I mean, of course we established at a point, but it's been Wave Bros, you know what I'm saying? It's been there, so it just makes sense, bro. It just makes sense. Fate.
I'm gonna have to hit some of these parties and see what
See
herbs and
what's something
spices y'all got.
Yeah,
going
come
on,
check
you
it
know?
out. Come check it out. There's
Herbs
season
and
in there.
spices.
Season.
Yeah, it's season in there.
For sure, man. So, like I said before, we got a segment. It's called Hot and Cold, but really
Oh, yeah.
what it is just answering questions to the best of your ability, what you prefer
On the spot.
out of the given object, man.
Make a decision.
You know, it's a few options. It's not a lot. Usually we do a good amount, but I'm gonna just hit you
Let's see
with
how
these
I do.
couple. Okay. All right. So, indica, sativa.
Oh, indica. I was gonna say sativa, but okay, keep going. Cause I know you can't break up.
Goku or Vegeta.
Goku.
Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network.
Drums or melody.
Drums.
All right. The last one. What is your #1 creative pet peeve?
Man, pet peeve. Look, I'm going slow. There's a lot of things that come with it.
I know, man.
The
This is a
adversity.
long list.
The adversity, man. Of growing.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's not even a big pet peeve, you know. It comes with it,
Mhm.
but you know. Yeah.
Oh, I got one too. It's just filling a blank. So I'll say
Cool.
something, you just fill it in.
Got it.
So when I wake up,
Gotta get high.
I hate it when people.
Talk too much.
Hey,
If
bro.
I,
I was gonna do that this weekend. Talking my hero off, bro. Spit on my lip and shit.
Man, in your face, God.
I respect it.
Man, respect me, bro.
At least wipe me down like Boozy or something.
Right, right. My bad.
If I could work with anybody, dead or alive, I would work with
The Lord.
church. My favorite place to eat in Oakland is,
Ooh, that's a lot of credit. My mama house.
hey, make sure you get us to some place or something.
Ah, yeah, man. She do the gumbo crazy.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a boss, I would be.
Lost.
Hey, the Bay Area is.
Saucy.
My favorite drink is.
Hennessy.
Hey, that's the juice right there.
Yeah.
If I had superpowers, I would.
Fly.
My favorite position is.
On top. Period.
My name is Spencer Stevens, and I'm a.
G.
Hey, there we go.
Man, Spence, bro. I gotta say, man, thank you for coming through,
I
man.
know, you know.
It's really great to see you, you know, your growth and see you like flourish.
Right
and
on.
everything that's going on, man. It's
Likewise.
really good to see, you know, your people doing well, man.
Right on,
So
man.
like I said, thank you for coming on the show, man. Where can people follow you at?
Man, I'm Spencer X Stevens on everything. You can find me there, SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. Try to keep it steady. If you don't find it, I'm not there. Shout out to the Juice, man. Thank y'all for having me.
yeah.
Man, this is a great interview. I hope the whole world loved it and checked it out. You know what I'm saying? You know, shout out to San Francisco. That's where we at now. I see my man Cam Shirt say, keep it player, positive, productive, and pushing. So always, you know, keeping it lit, period. So we out here. Come on now.
100%, man. Is there anything that you would like to let the people know, like any future projects, anything that's on the horizon?
The greatest is coming. It's yet to come. The greatest is yet to come.
Okay. You can follow me on Instagram at ch__music. You can follow me on SoundCloud at you just type in Corbin Harris and it should pop up.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Follow me on SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, and a few other things at Cam is Coolin'. You know, we gotta keep it cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, to conclude, that's the juice.
Yeah.
Tune in next time. You got some more special guests up in here.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. What's up with Spence though? Ice cold trifle. Yeah. Told her mama square shit make me itch. She want a white picket fence, I want a white bag of bricks. Ice cubes in my dick, here to break a bitch. Break my wrist, break the